On this episode of the Do Hard Things vlog, I'm going to take you on a little journey with me. A 21-mile march that I did on 9/11, 2021. This is the 20th anniversary of 9/11. We marched 21 miles carrying a flag in honor of those that gave their life. So here we go. So I represented Team Red, White, and Blue as part of the March to the Arch for Untitled Chapter. What Team Red, White, and Blue is, it's a veterans organization whose mission is to enrich the lives of Americans veterans through physical activity. You know, James, who's in the video, my very first march, this is my Go Ruck, he gave me this patch, but 343 are the 343 first responders that lost their life on 9/11. This is my absolute favorite patch, and I've been wearing it, on my bag ever since. Everyone that participated marched in honor of someone that fell. I walked in memory of Thomas Kennedy. Now, we're going to start off. You're going to hear a little bit from Bo Drochelman, who is the event founder. Enough of me talking. Here we go.
On the kitchen table. She got home at 5 o'clock, called me on the cell phone, said, "What are you doing?" Because she noticed that the car was still in the garage. I said, "I'm going to the Arch." Well, she found me down around the Chase Park Plaza. She said, "Okay, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to the Arch." Get in the car, I'll drive you. You're missing the point. Anyway, I ended up down at the Arch about 11 o'clock at night. She picked me up and we went home. Part of one little incident in that thing is, one, I had planned kind of where I was going to stop, and I wanted to stop at that bathroom right there at Skinker, Clayton Road, the Amico station. And unfortunately, after dark, they closed those, so I couldn't use that. So I had to now cut through Forest Park diagonally. One, my leg was starting to hurt. Two, I had to go to the bathroom, so I had to find someplace that wasn't on the street. It was really hidden. And people asked me afterwards, they said, "Weren't you afraid of going through Forest Park at 9:30 at night in the dark?" I said, "Well, no, not really, because the people who were there that might be dangerous thought that the guy with a flag at 9:30 at night was crazier than they were." But anyway, that's how it started. And I want to thank you guys. I'm going to tear up again. I'm going to thank you guys because you saved me. You guys have saved me. In the last month, weeks, I've become the anger that I had that first year has bubbled up to the surface again. I served during the Vietnam War. I didn't go over, but I saw the people come back being spit on. Being spit on and disrespected. A lot of people didn't like the fact that they served in Vietnam. I know it wasn't a happy war. None of them are. But tell me what war is happy, please. But I was feeling the same kind of thing starting to happen. The same kind of lack of thought. And by you guys being here, you saved my mental state. You to me, not me to you. You are the people who make this country great. And I'm so proud to be a friend. So thank you for being here. I'll talk again a little bit near the end. When we get to the Arch, we're going to have a beautiful little girl sing the national anthem for us. And then after that, I'll give a little bitty talk, and then you're all going to have to hitchhike home. So, appreciate it.
So I'm here with Craig HORSTMAN. You all know Craig HORSTMAN was my first guest on the Do Hard Things podcast. Craig's here with me walking the March to the Arch. Craig, why are you here?
Because honestly, generally, I don't do much for like 9/11, if you will. I found out about this from you through the 75 Hard group, and I was like, you know what, let's go give it a try, see what it's all about, and yeah, here I am.
Yeah, how has 9/11 affected you?
Oh, wow. Well, it started out getting me out of the field in Germany, and then affected the rest of my military career from there. I'd been in the Army about 2 years, and whereas I joined the Army and there was no talk of war 2 years later, here we are, 3 deployments, a whole bunch of stuff. So, yeah, big effect.
Yeah, so Craig, I had the honor and privilege of speaking at his retirement ceremony. He actually just walked the stage yesterday. He's not 100% out, but he spent the last 23 years in the United States Army, serving from private all the way through first sergeant. So, like me, 9/11 started very early on in our career and really redefined the trajectory. I remember it just changed everything. I remember, we were training for large-scale combat, and then everything, the deployment rotation started to change. The type of training we were doing changed. And ultimately, we've known people that have fallen and lost limb, eyesight, and ultimately paid the ultimate sacrifice. And on this 20th anniversary, we're watching the close of Afghanistan, which is ultimately 9/11 is what kicked it all off in the first place. So, what are your feelings about what you're seeing on the news and Afghanistan in general? How it's been handled?
I mean, I don't like the way it's been handled, but at the same time, any of us who have been there knew eventually it was going to have to happen, and most of us kind of knew what was going to happen when it did. So, as bad as it has gone, I think to me, it's been expected.
Yeah. No, and the handling of how we've pulled out is definitely debatable, but we all knew at some point it was going to come to an end. How do you feel about your service with this? I'm going to have to edit this part out. How do you feel about your service in regards to the events that have happened? Have you questioned your service, or how do you feel about it?
No, not at all. And the reason that I haven't is, while yes, in a way, I did go over there to, help the Afghan people. That's not what took us there in the first place. And my overall mission when I went to Afghanistan was to make sure all my guys came home, and I did that. So, no, I did what I went there to do.
So, if someone's listening to this and they're questioning their service, given all the circumstances, what advice would you give them?
Reach out. Like I said, think about what you did. Think about why you were there. Think about what caused us to be there, and just reach out. Talk to your buddies, the ones that went with you, and there's always people out there that'll talk to you. Find those people.
Absolutely. I think for the veteran community, we've really got to figure out there's more ways to serve than just a rifle, carrying a rifle, and I think there's other ways to serve. And we've got to we need to honor the fallen and continue to serve in a variety of capacities, because our country is definitely void of leadership, and we need to step up and fill in that gap, and that could be through volunteerism or a variety of different ways. Spending a Saturday like this and just walking and educating other people on why this is important, because believe it or not, there's people that don't really know why we're out here walking today.
And I think you hit it on your podcast with Sergeant Major Burke, is don't, especially if you're a veteran that's been there and seen it, the way to be a leader is not to now get on social media and just talk trash and bash everything and be completely negative. This is the time that we need to be pulling together, and we really need to be stepping up as leaders to make sure this goes in a positive direction instead of a negative direction. That's true.
Which is, one of the reasons that we're talking about on the podcast. So, anything else, Craig, you want to talk about?
No, man, that's it. We're just going to finish this walk and have a good time.
March to the Arch, and I've got Sam, Phoebe. Hey, Paige. What do you guys think about 9/11?
Well, it was definitely a terrible day. Of course, I wasn't alive then, but it was really bad.
Who are you walking for today?
The veterans and the civilians who died on 9/11.
Did you get a badge?
Yep, it's right here.
Who is it?
Robert C. King Jr.
Yeah. What do you think about this walk?
It's hard, but
So this is part of the March to the Arts. Is we're hitting Art Hill with the Flags of Valor. They have a flag for every service member who's given their life, and with each flag there's a photo of an individual. And as you can see, there are so many flags here. It's quite somber, and it's impressive yet somber knowing what they represent, as they're just flags everywhere. As the wind blows, you can hear the sound of the dog tags hitting the pole, and it just makes it a somber sound. Just like this constant jingling. Here with James TURNBAUGH, and we've been, how many of these we've been on together?
2015 was the first one I did.
Yeah, so we've been doing, I think, about 5 or 6 of these. We ran into each other, become pretty good friends since then. What brings you out here to do the March to the Arch?
It's almost like I need to do it, you know. I told you I'm gonna start crying. No, I feel like I need to do it. Like how Bo started, I need to do something to remember the day. So yeah, this is like the least I can do, you know.
Yeah. Now on 9/11, what were you doing on 9/11?
I was actually had the day off that day, and my father-in-law at the time woke us up and said, "Hey, you got to come see what's on TV." It was shortly after the first plane, and yeah, well, we were watching the news, and then the second plane, and we were just glued to it the rest of the day. Yeah.
As we're out here with, we're reviewing all these flags, which is an absolutely impressive sight, and you're obviously getting a little emotional thinking about it. Like, what are your thoughts seeing all these flags that are out here and being here in this moment?
Those are all people. I mean, it's crazy to think that every single one of those flags is a person.
Yeah, what they represent is powerful. I mean, I noticed just walking up here, you can hear, as the wind blows, the dog tags pinging off the poles, which is a very eerie feeling.
Yeah.
Because you know what that represents.
Yeah.
Brother, I appreciate you. As I'm standing here, the first time we met, you gave me a patch. It says 343.
Yeah.
And 343 has been my favorite patch. You invited me to a Go Ruck and kind of brought me into that community. And I cherish that patch, and what that 343 represents is the fallen first responders on 9/11. It means a lot to me, and since then we've forged a pretty good friendship. And I just want to say I appreciate you, and thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking the time to share your thoughts.
Of course.
Now, what about you? You're a son. This is your first March to the Arch. What are your thoughts? Not having been around during 9/11, like you weren't here when it happened. Like, what are your thoughts on all this? Seeing this.
Just really sad to see all of this, just knowing that, like he said, these are all people who are gone because of it.
Do you think how old are you now?
13.
You're 13? Do you think other kids your age understand the significance of 9/11 and what has happened since then?
School teaches it, but I don't think it really truly shows like this does, just the extent of how many people were lost on that day.
Yeah. How do you think that we can educate others that are your age of that generation who weren't here when 9/11 happened? And why do you think it's important to have marches like this?
I think it's important just because people need to know that this happened and how it changed America for the better.
Yeah. I think it's awesome that you're out here. You know, my 3 13-year-olds are out here. They haven't walked as far as you have today, but they've experienced some of it. And Lacey's son's here. He's 13. I think it's great to have the next generation out here and participate in this, and it makes me feel good that you're getting some understanding and some value from this. And the fact that you're doing this with your father is fantastic. These are the moments that you cherish the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And it's meaningful. Things like this are meaningful. So Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Welcome.
We're here with Bo Drochelman, who's the founder of the event organizer to the March to the Arch. Can you just tell us how this event got started?
Well, the very first year I did it was the first anniversary. It was in 2002. It was on the day. It was on 9/11. And I'd been thinking that I had to do something to show my respect for the people that died on 9/11. And I also had to do it to kind of get rid of my anger, although it hasn't. But I had to use something like that, something physical. And so I thought about it a little while, and over a couple of months, and on that day, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I grabbed the flag off the front of the house and walked down to the arch. And it just so happens that my house was 21 miles away from the arch, and obviously a 21 gun salute, so I did a 21-mile salute. And my wife didn't know that I was going. I left a note, and on the kitchen table she found it, called me at about 5 o'clock and said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm going to the arch." And she found me, wanted to drive me to the arch after she found me. I said, "No, that's not what it is." So she met me at the arch at about 11 o'clock at night and brought me home. So that was the first day, and then my kids, other people said, "Oh, I want to do that with you. You're going to do it next year?" And I made a promise that I would do it every year. So I was going alone or not, and now it's grown. We've got more people going now.
You always talk about that bit when the night that you're walking by yourself in Forest Park. Forest Park's a big park in Missouri, and you're in St. Louis, and it was like 9:30 at night, and your wife had asked if you're worried about getting mugged or beat up.
Yeah. And it's not exactly the place you want to be after dark.
Yeah.
All by yourself. But I always thought that I didn't have to be afraid, because the people who might be willing to hurt me thought that the guy with the flag walking through the park at 9:30 at night was crazier than they were.
Absolutely. No one's going to mess with you walking around the flag that hour. So what did you ever imagine that it would grow to the size that it has?
Well, it's hard to imagine, because in the beginning, maybe the first year we grew to 35.
Yeah.
And then maybe the next year was 75. And the thing about it is, it's our march is kind of not like compound interest. We don't grow from this base and then get new. We do get new people, but we get a lot of people will do it once, and it's enough of a trial that they won't do it again.
Yeah.
So there's always a subtraction from years. So we have a core that kind of come all the time, but my goal is to eventually have 3,000 people down at the arch to represent all the people who died on 9/11. And I don't know if that's possible, because 3,000 people walking down the street for 21 miles may not be possible.
That's a big ask. I mean, people train for marathons that are right at 26. It's hard to get that many people together,
Yeah.
And I was talking to a few other people that are out here. There's something to be said about just that long walk, that doing that difficult thing, that little bit of suffering and discomfort that you feel pales into comparison to what happened on that day. But it's just a reminder and just a way to commemorate. And what I love about it is you connect with other people on this walk, and there's moments of silence where you're just thinking about that day, because everyone has a story. Everyone knows where they were on 9/11 when it happened.
It is.
Where were you when 9/11 happened?
I was still at home, and my son called me to tell me what was going on. First word was a plane ran into one of the towers. I thought, small plane, some idiot, small plane. Didn't have any idea what it was initially. And I think once we found out what it was and we saw the towers go down, I mean, every time I stopped at a stoplight, I could see people in the cars. You knew what they were thinking.
Yeah.
And I was thinking the same thing, and the tragedy. And there was a time, if you remember, during that day where we thought there may have been 50,000 people dead, because that's how many people could be in those towers. So we're blessed in the sense that it wasn't that number.
Yeah.
But it was still an attack on America. And to me, one of the things I can tell you, because we're talking about things that go on today, in this world today, I didn't check to find out what kind of people died in those towers. I didn't check to see what religion they were, what race they were, what any of that stuff. That didn't matter to me.
Yeah.
What mattered to me is that they were American and they were attacked by a foreign group.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like a family. We argue among each other, but when somebody else comes after us,
this is what we do.
Yeah.
And don't touch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are my thoughts.
What are some of the emotions that you feel now? I mean, on this 20th anniversary and how things like we're pulling out of Afghanistan, the withdrawal just completed. What are some of your thoughts and how we?
Well, I don't know if you heard me talk earlier today. The anger that I felt during the Vietnam era, because I served during the Vietnam era.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go to Vietnam, but I served during that era. To see the soldiers that were coming home and that were not respected. And it's almost like that same tenor is being fomented again, and I can't stand it. And when we get to the arch, part of what I'll talk about when we get to the arch is that, and asking the people who did this march to fight against that.
Yeah.
Because we've got to stand together as a country.
There are a lot of veterans. A lot of my listeners are veterans. I've spent 25 years in the Army and still serving. And a lot of my listeners are veterans, and a lot of people are questioning their service. What advice would you give someone who, after watching all this, spending all this time, like you served in the Vietnam era, and it's almost like that all over again? What advice would you give someone who's questioning their service and their contribution?
Well, if you were here today and you saw the people that walked in this March to the Arch, the number of people that were here, their attitude, how they think. If you came to Art Hill to see all the 7,000 plus flags to honor the victims that have died since then, you would know that the vast majority of Americans in this country appreciate you and love the fact that you are willing to serve.
Yeah.
And so, other than that, I can't give you anything else. But there are people, plenty of people, the majority of people who really, really appreciate it. Appreciate is not even the strong enough word.
Yeah.
The service you get.
Yeah. I know that this event is one of my favorite things to do, and I appreciate you leading this out year after year after year, and it's made a tremendous impact on so many people. So thank you for continuing to do this. And I think, as you said earlier today, like it's almost a form of healing and therapy, and I think it is for so many people.
It is for me. Thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hey, and she walked part of this thing. If you were there at the beginning today, you heard me say that this march is about you guys, not me. I just had an idea and I had an itch and I had to scratch it, and so I left on 2002, took off down there, and then other people said, hey, great idea, let's do it. And it's grown because you people participate. It wouldn't be anything if it was still dumb old me coming down here. Nobody would know about it. You wouldn't have the fire trucks. You wouldn't have the police. You wouldn't have people taking pictures of it. It's because you guys are involved in it. And I told you before, you basically saved me, saved my attitude. because you showed up and you're here. I was talking to a military man, 20 some odd years in the military, and he's saying the military are really down right now. They're not feeling like they're respected. They're not feeling like they're appreciated. Can you imagine what the firefighters and police officers are feeling? Same thing. And he asked me, what would you tell them? I would say, come watch us walk down on 9/11. And you'll know that this is St. Louis. This is the community. This is Missouri. This is this United States of America. This is who we are. And now, you answered my call this morning, and you came here and you walked, and you gave of yourselves. Not as obviously, not as much as the people who died, but you gave of yourself. You took the time out, you took the dedication, you did it. I only ask one more thing. We're going to walk back. No. General MacArthur said never ask your troops to do something that they're not going to do because it erodes your authority. So I'm not going there. But what I am asking you is, I know you're here because you're proud Americans. You're proud of the United States of America, and you're proud for what we stand for. And we have problems. Every family has problems. You know, you got a brother you don't like, but he's still true to you. And when somebody from the outside comes after you, bingo, you're there for them. When the people went down on 9/11 and I decided to walk, I didn't check to see who those people were. I didn't check to see if they were like me. They were the same religion I was, or that where they came from. That was not important. It was important that they were United States citizens. They were brothers and sisters. So what I'm asking you to do, and I'm asking you to do this for your children, because that's really what we have to stand up for. When people are saying, and hey, there are things we can say about the United States that we'd like better, and they can say that. But what I'd like you to remember is a couple of words. And when they start talking like that, I would like you to stand your ground and just say, you don't have to change their mind. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I want you to say, I love the United States of America. I want your children to hear you say, I love the United States of America. So you guys can head out. Thank you for being here. God bless the United States of America.
Craig Horstman, we're standing here at the Arch. What are your thoughts after today's event?
This is awesome.
I love you, bro. Glad you're here.